Hey, where? Hey, don't go in there yet. Wait, wait. Hey, come here, viewer. Hey, it's been a long time coming. Doing an episode on Mr. Morale. And it's a really good episode, but we just want to give you some quick warnings, real quick. Some stuff, some information.
Real hot takes, real hot topics.
I don't want to work on a hot topic, but we do talk about some serious stuff in this episode, and we just kind of want to give you a little bit prelude that we do talk about abuse and stuff like that. Not our person, not like personal things or anything like that, but just like the contents of the songs that you're listening to. If you listen to the Mr. Morale um, and the Big Steppers album, you kind of probably already knows that stuff. So if you're triggered by that stuff and you don't want to hear that stuff, just want to give you a heads up that we are going to talk about it and give some takes about what Kendrick Lamar was trying to say in those pieces.
Yeah, if you've listened to the album, then like you probably already heard this, but we're giving the content warning that the actual content this is talking about didn't give you. And just in case maybe you didn't listen to this and somehow you stumble upon this video and you're like, I'm going to take whatever these guys say um, into consideration if ever I decide to listen to this album. Just want you to know, let you know this is here. Um, and yeah, like really has been a long time since this album came out. And there's a few we've had a few music videos come out. A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Still pretty confused about it to some extent. I know I still have a lot of questions. I think I've listened to the album a few more times. I still have a better idea, but a few more questions still.
Same.
How about you, nobody?
Yeah, same. So yeah, just want to give you this thing. We normally go through. We're gonna go through a lot of tracks and jump around stuff. So enjoy the podcast. And if you like it, please leave it a like. Take it easy.
Oh, and while he's not here, since he's gone over that way, hey, just make sure you lick that like button and subscribe.
Hey, you're not telling them to lick the like buttons, right?
No,
Hold on. Let's get this. Let's get this. Let's get this. Let's.
Tap dance over to another subject. Do 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 do. Hey Roscoe, have you heard about this guy? Do 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 do. Mr. Morale?
Mr. Morale.
Yeah.
I got one quick question for you.
What?
How big is his steps?
He has the biggest of steps. He has a whole entourage called the Big Steppers. That's how big his steps are.
But you know what? Nobody. I think I'm a fan of that new wave of rap. Kendrick Lamar is cool, but I think I like that new stuff. I like that patty cake, man. I like that Kodak. They don't want to see you winning. They want to see you in the penitentiary.
You like that? Well, guess what, bro? Yo, one of the Big Steppers is Kodak.
What?
Black.
But you know what? I've also been trying to rebalance my chakras. And I've just been eating something different, man. This got anything for my chakras?
What about I don't know who you're referencing, but I'm gonna say, what about old time Ghostface?
Old time Ghostface for the chakras. All right.
Yeah, let's go.
This is the Anonymous Thought Podcast. I'm Roscoe Sweatsuit here with Nobody Knows, and we're here to talk about Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, we've talked about this before, but today, while I was making notes, I spent the last 2 days making notes for this episode, and my notes, man, just spread out to 6 pages, so I am so ready, but so unorganized at the same time. Nobody.
I am barely ready, but fuck it, we're just gonna do it live.
Usually it's the other way around. Usually you have the notes, and I'm just like, I'll say whatever I want. Everything sounds cool to me, but it's the opposite way today.
Yeah. So like, I guess before we go into it, I have 2 questions first. But before we get into it, let's say what this is, like just in case people don't know what this is. But Mr. Morale is Kendrick Lamar's album at this time. It is supposed to be a split album.
No, this is a double album.
Okay.
So this album is split into 2 parts.
All right, let me just let you explain this. What is big Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers?
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. It's split up into 2 parts. It's to me, I don't know. I felt the parts that were split up in were very what's the word? Very random. I'm gonna look up the song thing, so the song list, so I can tell you where they split up. But yeah, Miss Morale's Kendrick Lamar's fifth studio album. It was released on May 13th, 2022. It's his last and final album on Top Dog. They recently just a week ago, I think they took him off their roster. It is now also a joint project with his new media group conglomerate thing, PG Lang.
Yep.
And not like what's unlike most of his albums that we've talked about, I think with the exclusion of Damn, is that this album doesn't really have a whole lot to do with Compton, and it really kind of a lot of it seems to take place in his head, a good amount of it, or the scenes could be anywhere. He's talking about things like his relationships, his insecurities, his imperfections, his grief, his stepping.
I find that the tap dancing, like between these songs, like so appropriate sometimes in this thing. It's just so appropriate and so hilarious to me.
I'm gonna start tap dancing around my own issues now. Whenever people start talking to me about stuff I don't want to hear, I'm just gonna be like,
Tap 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 tap.
Stop tap dancing around the issues.
No.
Oh yeah, so the first 10 songs are one side of the project. I think I might be wrong. I think the first 9. I think it either ends at Purple Hearts with Summer Walker and Ghostface, or it begins with Count Me Out, or for the second one.
All right, so let's stop tap dancing around the main thing. We're probably gonna people don't want to see. We don't have any people watching, but the main thing that I think is like the thing that is the question that's on everyone's mind about this album is like, Roscoe, what do you think this album's about? Like, how would you say, like, what does it describe? What is it about? What is like the thesis of this album? If you could wrap it up.
Well, Kendrick Lamar said so much at his Glastonbury Festival that the album is about imperfection. It's not just like it's about imperfections. It's about the concept of what a savior is. Is he really the savior? Some of it's about him necessarily rejecting being a savior. It's about judgment. I think a lot of it, like I don't know if you saw the Glastonbury thing, but there's a part in this I was about to call it a rant because it's like very much like a Kanye-ish rant, but it's brief, so it's not like a Kanye rant where he's talking about the album and he's got his $3 million crown on. And he's saying like, hey, they judge you, they judge Christ, and he just repeats that a bunch of times. They judge you, they judge Christ, they judge you, they judge Christ. Thinking he's saying in that is like, it's okay if they judge you because Christ was perfect and they judged him, so people are just gonna judge.
Yeah, I didn't listen to any of that stuff. Because like when we do these things, I tend to just listen to the album, write down my opinion of like that like what I think it is, and then try to like block most things out until we get to our conversation, just like to like pollute our discussion. I don't do this all the time, but I wanted to do it with this album because like it seemed like it had like a lot of, like every Kendrick album had like a lot of different takes and stuff like that. But at least for me, when I first like listened to the album like a couple times, what I thought was like, here comes a thesis, because this is what I literally wrote this down on a piece of paper, trying to figure out like what this album is about. In all of us, there's these fears of pain that float around inside of us, and we may know they are there, we may not. These fears are made up of generational tragedies, family issues, personal problems, etc., etc. But they are there, and there could be multiple ones inside of us. We have many different ways to cope with these fears, even if we're not aware of these fears in ourselves. And these fears affect your relationships around you in your real life as you cope and as you have these relationships. There's no real savior that can take these fears out of you. And the ones that say they are is like clickable, is like clickbait, right? They can maybe help you recognize that those fears are there. They can maybe show you different ways to cope or deal with these fears, but they're like, these people can't really change the fact that there's these fears of pain in you. And the only way to break these fears or to like make them dissipate or not continue throughout like your bloodline to your kids or whatever is to like you deal with them, whether that be like through therapy, through different types of thought, through uh leaning on to loved ones, forgiving yourself, forgiving loved ones for your actions and stuff like that. But it ultimately comes down to like an action for you, and whatever that is, it's not about you being on the right or wrong side of history. It's about you like figuring it out yourself to kind of expel this stuff. But if you do it, you kind of like break this cycle. That's probably like what I'm trying to say. If you do this correctly, you probably stop these like fears of pain being pushed down to your kids or loved one.
Dang. Yeah, I think you pretty much just hit you hit pretty much everything. Almost everything I was gonna say. I want to like clap. Can we put in like a clap at some point in time? Like, you know, like, ah.
おめでとうおめでとうおめでとう
おめでとう。
おめでとう
めでたいなおめでとうさん
Yeah, I want to put in like kids saying, "Yay, this dude has an opinion."
And then I'm gonna put in the ending scene to Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's like, congratulations. It's like, congratulations.
Man, like you know, like I say with everything, I'm just gonna have this as a clip that I might bring in from like other things and stuff. But like, I said this before, in like our like when we talked about like Good Kid, Mad City, I was like, if like the artist was right next to me, I can't just help feel like they'll be like, "Yo, shut the fuck up, please. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
Yeah, you'd be like, shut the fuck up when you hear this love talking.
Yeah. And then they'll be like, but it's kind of loud, you know. I'm just on the other side. There's only thin walls in this apartment, man. Like I know you guys are working out your or whatever, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning, my man.
Yeah, I think Kendrick will be fine with it though. I mean, I hope. I don't know this man at all, but you know, given the themes of this story, this album, I think he'd be okay with us making some imperfect or flawed opinions about it.
I mentioned that like I think in this album Kendrick has this opinion of like saying like, "Hey, I'm tired of pretending that I'm tired of holding my tongue because I'm worried like people are worried about me being on the right or wrong side of history or like of saying the right or wrong things." And I think that the line where he's like, "Hey, I'm more Kodak Black." What's the line? It's like,
I like it when they're pro-black, but I'm more Kodak Black.
yeah, I think that line makes more sense where it's like, hey, I don't care about like, you know, there's a whole bunch of, we can get into this in a second. Like there's a whole bunch of things about having Kodak Black on this album that people didn't like. But like for Kendrick, I think it's just like, hey, I way more into like supporting the people that I care about or saying the things I want to say than worrying about being on the right or wrong side of history at this point in my career. I don't know if he's on the right or wrong side of history or whatever. I still really enjoyed this album. But like I think I think there's some strong theme in where like Kendrick's just kind of trying to say his truth, which is very interesting when I feel like he's been doing that for a long time already.
Nobody, do you know what a pain body is?
A pain body?
Yeah.
No. What is a pain body?
So this is I'm kind of deviating from like I guess the main parts of I guess what I was talking about, but I was gonna circle around this eventually. But you managed to actually have hit upon like a big sort of theme of the story and of like I guess what part of Kendrick Lamar's album. So you know how there's this you know how there's the German guy that's on all the skits.
Yes. German guy. It says German things.
I mean, it could be Austrian. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, you know that like the guy that's on that, his name's Eckhart Tolle. He's like a big spiritualist person, and he has this like concept of like it's what he calls as a pain body, and like Kendrick Lamar tries to weave this into the story, and it's basically it's not a very complex idea, but you kind of hit on it. So I thought you had already like heard it when you said it, but I took some notes from I guess like a website, just a quick definition. It's like A pain body is the collective manifestations of all the pain, misery, and sorrow a person has ever gone through, their entire life and all the things they inherited from their culture and family history as well. A person's pain body feeds and strengthens itself by making themselves and others miserable. I thought that you had like heard of that concept when you were going through your thesis.
No, I am ignorant.
Think about the themes of the album. What kind of themes would you have put on?
Oof, you need some therapy. You don't need therapy. I think wrestling with inner turmoil. I think expectations, placed expectations by like the media and fan base, and then I think of like some like deeply personal issues and family issues. Like those last 3 songs, bro.
Yeah.
Like I think the ones that stick out to me, like it's not even like the last 3 songs, it's throughout the whole album. I think Daddy Issues is a good example of this, where it's like leading into like all these opinions that Kendrick Lamar has about his dad, and like how like even with the negative stuff, it has shaped him into what he is, or even like the negative and positive stuff has shaped him into these things. Like his dad his dad was this person. You could say he was toxic, you could say he was non-toxic, you could say like he was just preparing him for the world, but either way it has manifested into this person that is Kendrick Lamar, and has a great effect on him. So like look at that. Look at I don't know the name of the song, but the hook is like my auntie's a man now. Like, you know, that is like as someone dealing with their sexuality. I think the ending of that song is a pretty hard bar. Like it's a pretty like, hey bro, you gotta deal with these hypocritisms, right? And then obviously the last 2, when Kendrick talks about, you know, the turmoil about people alleging that he was raped, and people not believing him, and like how that affected his family. Like I think these are all like deeply personal and deeply like emotional turmoil. It's like if I had to like put like one theme on the album, it's like emotional turmoil, right? Like it's like him talking about all this emotional turmoil and like how he's fixing himself or dealing with it. Which kind of leads into like another thing I want to talk about. But I'll like, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to start at the first song. One theme that I was kind of trying to figure out as I go is like infidelity.
Yeah.
And I mean the biggest part, the culmination of that is like in the We Cry Together song. But in the first song, Uniting Grief, is like this the part where he's talking about like the girl that he meets on his first tour in Chicago, and like she's called Green Eyes, and you know, there's this whole thing about like him, like he's talking about her and her their relationship, kind of like he kind of empathized with her when he's talking about like his relationship, like how her dad was her brother died when he was 21, and like how he's using sex like to bury the pain away, and all the different ways that he grieves. But I guess the thing I was trying to figure out is like, and it's hinted a few times, is like throughout the songs, like that he is using this infidelity and these other women for a specific reason. And I've been trying to figure out necessarily what the different reasons were. I have a few theories about it, and I have like a few lines that like kind of work to that. Like, you know, there's a song, and there's a part of the song in the I forget which song, not Savior, it's Mother I Sober, where he's talking about like when he saw his like mom get physically abused, that like till this day he can look her in his eyes and the pain is taken over. There's the line in We Cry Together where Whitney, or like the lady that's playing Whitney, says like, you know, you're like somebody that didn't get much love from his mom, I see. I have this other line that I collected in the other song, in Mother I Sober again, where it's like, I made it home 7 years of tour chasing manhood, and something along the lines of like, all those women gave me superpowers that I thought I lacked. Is what he's lacking, is it manhood? Is it attention? Is it like the love that he wasn't getting? Was it the care that his mom wasn't giving him? In like that line where it's like, his dad, well, he's saying like his mom's saying like when he's out in the streets trying to practice his basketball, and his dad's like, nah, you're gonna practice all day. Where she's like, can't you see that he's exhausted? And his dad's like, you can go yourself. If he lets up now, life's gonna cost him because life's a
Yeah, I think it's hard to say. I think that's an interesting point. I think there's something there. Uh, I think him using women and for this like way to like cope and deal. I think you have a point there. I would even go as far as saying like what he says off of what is the one where he is like saying like I think I might be racist, and he starts talking about all these times that he f***ed a white.
worldwide steppers.
Yeah, so like in World War Steppers, he makes that like things where he's like saying like he's talking about all these accounts of like meeting white chicks or during touring and stuff like that, and like telling how he feels when he's doing them, and like why is he doing them, and a lot of them come at least in the way he describes it in the at least the way I interpreted it in the song was like, yo, I am getting revenge. I am getting revenge on like this, like all these people that have like made my community like feel this way, or like made my family like feel this way. Where like, and the reason why I'm bringing this up was like, hey, this kind of goes along with what we were saying earlier, where it's like, hey, he's using these girls or this woman in this way to just kind of like cope with this like immense tragedy that has like affected his community. So I think it rides there too. I would like to say something about family that family time. Part of time, like I think it's one of my favorite verses from his album has come from that. And it's like daddy issues for everybody, go get your money, son. Protect yourself, trust nobody, only your mom and them. This made relationship seem cloudy, never attached to none. So if you took likings around me, I might reject the love. And then the other line that I liked from it was, I love my father for telling me to take off the gloves because everything that he didn't want was everything I was.
Yeah, that line I've been thinking about a bit, because there's a few ways you could take that. Like one way you could take that is taking off the gloves, like, hey, like stop holding back, take off the gloves. And like the other way is like, take off the gloves, like stop fighting.
Yeah.
And it was like, because everything you didn't want was everything I was. And I was looking on the Genius version, like, and there, I guess one of the arguments that they had was that like his dad was saying that when his dad was saying like his dad wanted him to be like emotionless and things like that, but that's not what he is or what he believes that he is. So when his dad like saying take off the gloves is like him freeing him. But like there's also another layer of that where like they said like could be taking off the gloves like when you're committing crimes, like, or sometimes like in people wear gloves like so they don't leave fingerprints, and that could like connect to the Good Kid Mad City narrative where he's like saying there's a few lines where he's saying like he was out there doing like crazy stuff, where there was like when he got a job as a security officer, and then like him and his friends plan on robbing the place, or like all the other narratives in that song.
And I feel like there's I still don't know exactly what he means from this thing. At least the way I find like both those things. I think like the first one I mentioned is like very like I just personally kind of relate, where it's like I feel like the steep mistructs of other people sometimes, and like it makes having regular relationships kind of weird and hard sometimes. And like it's a weird thing that comes from like, hey, you gotta protect yourself and you gotta like trust the people that you trust, but it makes it really hard to connect to anyone else. And then the other thing about like the other verse with taking off the glove and everything he didn't want was everything I was. At least to me comes off of like, man, I don't know if anyone has faced this, but that was a weird thing to say because I know you're past. But I know it's kind of sometimes really difficult to realize that like this person that you see as a father figure or is your father figure can be like very. It reminds me of like the line for Fences where it's like, what's the line? It's like, ain't no one told me that I gotta like you, right? There's no rule that says that I have to like you.
What law is there to say I got to like you? None. Well, all right then.
And I feel like it's like that idea of like sometimes you have to contend that like your father or your father figure may not like you but love you in a weird way, or maybe it's neither, right? Maybe he doesn't love you and he doesn't like you, right? Like I think it's just like a very interesting thing that like I feel people have to contend with at some points of their life, depending on some situations where it's like where a relationship between a father and son could be like that type of weird.
Father Time. Well, I don't know. I just think about the name. What does the name mean about that? Is this what does Father Time have to do with Kendrick Lamar and his relationship with his father?
I don't know. Maybe nobody knows. Maybe it's like it leads into like what he says like soon after that verse where it's like to all my partners that figure it out without a father.
May your blessings be neutral to your toddlers.
Yeah, where it's like regardless of this, like most men have to figure it out. Like most, like regardless of like these issues, like still kind of have to figure it out, and become a father figure yourself. Like everyone has to like, I don't want to say everyone has to like turn into a father figure at some point, but like a lot of people a lot of people with these issues tend to become figures, and either like kind of keeps this cycle going or like changes it for the better, right? So I think this is like where the father time listening, where it's like this cycle of like, being anything new, and maybe this kind of is like, this is me really reaching, but like maybe this is like a kind of like it's kind of homage to his own father because at least in Duckworth it kind of talks a little bit about like Kendrick's dad and like his experience, and like he didn't have like the easiest life either, from at least the little I got from there.
Yeah, and he had like I think we had a point about like the right, or I had said something about To Pimp a Butterfly being a really good transition to this album, like being the sequel, but I think Duckworth has a lot to do with this album as well. Like that one song, like you here's his dad's traumas and things that his dad has gone through, and here's how this is played out in Kendrick's life, like having to deal with like the risks that his dad took to get him to Compton, the risks on his life he had to like try to make sure that Kendrick had a good situation. Like there's a whole part about like Kendrick, like him, like Kendrick's dad probably has to see the guy that could have killed him for a good portion of his life because that was Kendrick's mentor or financier. I was gonna say and there's some other lines too about Kendrick's relationship with his dad that I found, and there's a line where it says like you said I'd feel better if I just worked hard. Oh, this is in the song Count Me Out. There's a line where it says something like, you said I'd feel better if I just worked hard without lifting my head up. That made me feel, or that left me fed up. You made me worry. I wanted my best version, but you ignored me. I was wondering if how that played to the rest of the narrative. Like he wanted his, like Kendrick wanted the best version of him, like thinking that might have been good enough, but like instead he still didn't get the recognition. And that might not be his dad, but to me that like that seemed like the most likely to be his dad, especially the line about like him giving advice that you should just keep working hard, keep his head down and working hard. And I don't know, man, like there's still the other lines where he's saying like his dad taught him not to deal with losses well, and pretty much just like what he said, to keep his head down, and that's what made him what he is now.
Yeah, and like there's a whole other line that I think the icon line that's already been circulating the internet is like what's the one with Kanye? It's like the one that falls or is right before like.
Yeah, I got it. Daddy issues kept me competitive. That's a fact. I don't give a what's the narrative. I am that.
Yeah. And then I think it goes into like when Kanye and Drake got back together, I was slightly confused. Guess I got like more growing to do, I'm guessing.
Guess I'm not mature as I think. Got some healing to do.
Right. So I was like saying like that lead. I feel like that leans into like the stuff you were saying where it's like these things have shaped him tremendously. And then still not being able to be like recognized by whoever he's talking about in this statement, but like I think you're right. I think he's talking about his dad, or some type of father figure, just to help alleviate his soul, but he didn't feel like it helped at all.
That's on me.